The small town of Greenfield had always prided itself on its commitment to sustainability and environmental responsibility. Nestled in a valley surrounded by lush forests and rolling hills, it was a place where people cared deeply about nature. But one day, a shocking incident would put that reputation to the test and lead to an extraordinary discovery that no one could have predicted. It all started when a local egg farm, Greenfield Poultry, faced a devastating outbreak of avian flu. To prevent the spread of the disease, the farm was forced to cull its entire flock of chickens. The eggs they had already collected, 20,000 of them, were deemed unsafe for consumption and ordered to be destroyed. The farm's owner, a man named Harold Jenkins, was heartbroken. He had spent his life building the business, and now it was all crumbling before his eyes. The eggs were loaded into trucks and taken to the town's landfill, a sprawling site on the outskirts of Greenfield. Workers carefully buried the eggs under layers of soil and waste, ensuring they were sealed off from the environment. It was a grim task, but necessary to prevent contamination. As the last truck drove away, Harold stood at the edge of the landfill, staring at the freshly turned earth. "What a waste," he muttered to himself. "What a terrible, terrible waste." 3 months later, something strange began happening at the landfill. Workers reported hearing faint scratching noises coming from deep within the mounds of trash. At first, they dismissed it as rats or other scavengers, but the sounds grew louder and more persistent. And soon, people started noticing something even more bizarre. The ground in certain areas was warm to the touch. Curiosity got the better of one worker, a man named Carl. Armed with a shovel, he began digging into one of the warm spots. As he broke through the soil, he was hit with a wave of heat and a strange, earthy smell. And then he saw it, a tiny crack in one of the buried eggs. Inside, something was moving. Carl called over his co-workers, and together they carefully excavated the area. What they found left them speechless. Dozens of eggs had hatched, and the creatures that emerged were unlike anything they had ever seen. They were small, reptilian, and covered in a thin, translucent membrane. Their eyes were large and dark, and they moved with a strange, almost alien grace. Word of the discovery spread quickly, and soon the landfill was swarming with scientists, reporters, and curious onlookers. Biologists from the local university were called in to examine the creatures, and what they found was astonishing. The eggs had not been ordinary chicken eggs after all. Somehow, buried deep within the landfill, they had undergone a radical transformation. The heat generated by decomposing waste, combined with the unique chemical composition of the landfill, had created the perfect conditions for a freak mutation. The creatures were a hybrid, part reptile, part bird, and entirely unique. They had scales like lizards, but beaks and feathers like birds. They were also highly intelligent, displaying problem-solving skills and social behaviors that fascinated the scientists. The media dubbed them land dragons, and they became an overnight sensation. As news of the land dragons spread, Greenfield became the center of a global phenomenon. People from all over the world flocked to the town to catch a glimpse of the creatures. Scientists debated the implications of the discovery, while environmentalists hailed it as a testament to the resilience of life. Harold Jenkins, the egg farm owner, found himself thrust into the spotlight. He was hailed as an accidental pioneer, a man whose misfortune had led to one of the most extraordinary scientific discoveries of the century. But not everyone was thrilled. Some residents feared the land dragons, worried that they might pose a threat to the local ecosystem. Others saw them as a potential gold mine, eager to capitalize on the tourism boom. The town was divided, and tensions began to rise. As the months passed, the land dragons continued to thrive. Scientists set up a research facility at the landfill, studying the creatures and working to understand their biology. They discovered that the land dragons were not only harmless, but also played a crucial role in breaking down waste, turning the landfill into a thriving ecosystem. Harold Jenkins, once a broken man, found a new purpose. He became an advocate for the land dragons, working to protect them and ensure they were treated with respect. He even opened a small museum near the landfill, where visitors could learn about the creatures and the science behind their existence. The story of the land dragons became a symbol of hope and resilience, a reminder that even in the face of disaster, life finds a way. And for the people of Greenfield, it was a lesson in the power of community and the importance of embracing the unknown. If you found this story touching and inspiring, please like the video, share it with others, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for following along, and we'll see you next time for more uplifting tales.